All right, traders, welcome. This Friday, April 1st, 2022. Everything is playing out exactly according to plan. This is textbook, patent, technical analysis, price action in play. Nothing has been unexpected for the last 3 weeks. And you guys know I only bring you updates on Monday morning and Friday afternoon if things play out exactly as I said they would in the last video. So far for the last 3 weeks, that has been the case. I don't expect any difference here this weekend into next week. I'm going to tell you what I expect. But before I do that, a little bit of housekeeping. I've got a new trade tracker spreadsheet that I've been sharing with my paid subscribers. So far we're batting 1,000 with an average of 29% profit per trade and an average time span of 7 days in each trade. So swing trading is working out well. I decided to create this spreadsheet just to give a little bit more transparency, alleviate some doubt. I know many of you are new to my channel, and a lot of you already know the success rate that I have. I can tell by the paid subscriber throughput. I have a 25%. One out of every 4 of you is paying for the subscription. So out of my free subscribers, out of every 4 of you have chosen to pay for my subscription, which I'm greatly appreciative. But that tells me that a lot of you know what I'm about already. Some of you do not. So I have chosen to create this spreadsheet, which I'm going to give free previews to my free subscribers, showing you what my success rate is. So far I've been batting 1,000, as I said. I hope that trend continues. Be a little bit more difficult once we reach a bear market, but I don't expect that to be anytime soon. All right. So if you'd like to become a part of my paid membership and participate in successful trading, then head on over to studam.us and sign up. All right. Whether you're a free or paid member, you will always get trade alerts. Now the paid members actually get to see what I'm buying, and you can follow me if you so desire. You don't have to do that, but that's what the paid subscription is all about. All right, guys, I don't really enjoy hawking my own wares, but some of you are not aware of what this thing is all about. And essentially, you get to just follow me in my trades. And if you choose to do that, my paid members are very happy. I have a Telegram channel. We participate in chats and often get just more up-to-date information. But I also have a Telegram channel for my free subscribers, which you can subscribe to as well, and you get those push notifications for trade alerts, etc., etc. What else do I want to say here? Yeah, I'm done promoting myself. Hate doing that. I really want you all just to see value in what I offer, and I don't feel like I really need to sell or promote a lot if you can do that. However, sometimes it's necessary just to point everybody in the right direction to see what I actually do have to offer. And you can't, of course, obtain my spreadsheet or all of the alerts at any other social media channel other than at studam.us. I'll put that link in the description, except on TradingView I can't because it's against house rules. All right, let's jump to our charts here. There we go. All right. So here's Bitcoin, good old Bitcoin. And if you remember in my Monday's video, I said I do expect us to come up and test this area of confluence here. What do we have going on here? Well, we have the 200-day intersecting with a major ascending trend line, this blue trend line, as well as I've got a purple trend line here. Now, this one I wasn't sure about, but it looks like it is actually playing as resistance. Let's see where I drew that from. All right, so what I got here is I started way over here on the 28th of July. All right, and I drew this because I saw a wick down here as we broke the neck, but the body did not break. So therefore, this so-called head and shoulders pattern, which I wasn't really sure about at the time, it's looking like it is not actually valid, was still intact. All right, but the wick down provided us a point of contact for this purple ascending trend line. And then over here we had another wick down, came all the way down actually below this area of confluence right here, a level I've got drawn, as well as my ascending trend line, but it touched that ascending trend line. Therefore, I knew we had something going on here. And then I saw us break below this trend line, come up and retest it as resistance. Could not get past that, and then we failed hard. All right. That proved to me that this purple trend line was something that the market is actually respecting. So I kept this in here and I extended it out. And look at this. Our body candles are coming up into that resistance as well. All right. So that's definitely a significant trend line as well. We have a whole big area of confluence here. Lots of strong resistance up ahead of us. Now we've already gone bullish for the last 2 weeks basically and into this area of confluence. So it's no surprise that we failed. And as I said on Monday, we would come back down and test this area right here. Let me draw a square. In between 44,800 essentially and 44,800 and 45,800. All right. And that is exactly what we did. Let me get rid of all this stuff so you can see where we're at again. All right, so what's going to happen next? Well, next week, and I haven't even been jumping into my index charts because Bitcoin seems to be now taking the lead role ahead of our US stock indexes, all right? Being a primary indicator, this indicates to me that we could be experiencing a shift. The transition that I have been expecting into digital currency, specifically cryptocurrency. Now, I know the global government and World Economic Forum, etc., they have something else planned for cryptocurrency. What they want to do is roll that into CBDC eventually. I don't know whether that's going to happen or not, but that being said, cryptocurrency is still on the forefront of that revolution into a digital world of currency. And so for that reason, I think we are starting to see our cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin, take the lead role in the indexes. And for that reason, I've also not been visiting the indexes, although I will do that today. All right, so now that we've had a test of our support, we could still get a test here over the weekend, come back down and test our 44,800 support and do it again before we pop up. But all into next week, this is where I expect us to be, somewhere in this area. I still don't think that we will go through this area of confluence here because that's some pretty strong resistance. So I think we do test that one more time, and that all happens next week. So next week, this is what my expectation will be, is that we will remain in this area, probably again testing first of all our support one more time, then up here into our area of confluence, testing our resistance, and next Friday we might be somewhere around this area. All right, so not much different than where we are today. It's going to be a little bit of sideways action because we're just building up to break through that resistance overhead. All right. So that's what I expect for the Bitcoin. Now let's just jump through and see what's actually been happening. I haven't looked at any of this stuff on our indexes. First of all, we visit the dollar, and you can see the dollar's kind of doing the same thing. It's just cutting through this level I have here. Eventually this no longer becomes significant. All right, we just keep moving sideways basically with the dollar, and that could be also looked at as somewhat of a range, and maybe we're consolidating here, ready to move higher. I'm not sure, remains to be seen, but sideways action is what we're getting on the dollar, and that's really not telling us much, but it does dictate the stock market indexes when that coincides with the VIX. So for instance, if the dollar's up and the VIX is up, then you know the indexes are down. If the dollar's down and the VIX is down, you know the indexes are up. And that's almost 100% true every time. In this case, we have the VIX down and the dollar up. All right, so that's giving us a kind of a mixed signal. I always say that the VIX is priority, but in this case, there's not much significant price action. So we could have, I haven't even looked at the indexes. I'm looking right now, I'm peeking, but we'd have not much action on our indexes because of this difference in the dollar and the VIX. All right. And so if we look at silver and gold, which is I also use as kind of a fear indicator, because that's where people flow when there is great amount of uncertainty, and you can see this here coincides with the VIX, and this downward movement coincides with the release of fear in the market, and you'll see that on silver as well. So I kind of use these as additional confirmations of the VIX. All right, so in the Dow we have exactly as expected. We're still above this trend line. And I think what I originally stated about 2 months ago when we broke down below this trend line here is going to take place. I don't think we'll just continue downward. I think what's going to happen here is we range sideways, all right, with the indexes, with all of the indexes. And so, yeah, this may be sort of a top, but for a while here, maybe all the way through the end of the year, we will range sideways. That's my expectations, at least. That's from the data that I am seeing and calculating into my predictions here. All right, SPY is kind of doing the same thing, right around the 100-day average here. All these moving day averages will begin to just kind of move sideways, and that will help to dictate what the market price action does as well. All right, NASDAQ, same thing. Here's our range here. We'll just flow through this for the rest of the summer and into the fall. I think that is what's actually going to happen here. All right, so then now onto our crypto market. This is the total market cap. You can see we broke into the upside of this triangle here, a bullish sign. And here we are forming a bull flag as expected. We may come all the way down to the 100-day moving average actually before we get our trampoline bounce and head on higher. And I don't know that we'll break through that purple trend line. Could be something like this till we hit our heads on that target resistance level at $2.45 trillion total market cap. Eventually we'll break that, but for now that is my target. Ethereum is up against the 200-day moving average. Again, that's not something you generally just break straight through. So providing good resistance here. And again, Ethereum may be forming somewhat of a bull flag as well. We could come back, come to the 100-day moving average before we continue up to our resistance here on the purple trend line, or even further up, $4,195. All right, Bitcoin dominance has actually done something I did not expect, has dropped below our 42.62% support once again. All right, so now we have found somewhat of a level here, this 100-day moving average. I don't know where we close by the end of this candle, but I suspect, and my suspicions are usually correct, that we will just not break through and close below that 100-day moving average. I think we bounce back up by the end of the day. We come above this 100-day, and we use that as support to propel us upward again. Now, maybe we don't break through that support. Maybe we don't continue in this range. All right, we are at the end of the time frame I expected. And again, I was not sure whether we'd go up and test this resistance up ahead or whether we'd come down and test our support. It looks like we tested our support and then finally broke our support. That is actually what happened. All right, so that part I was not sure on. And again, I'm not sure what happens here, but I do expect that we will come back up and test that 42.62% previous support and now resistance once again. All right, and that will be a bullish sign in the short term for Bitcoin. In the long term, I don't know. Alts may start to take over. All right, that's kind of what I'm seeing here. All right, so again, back to our Bitcoin chart. This is the whole range that I expect us to be in next week, and kind of sideways action, and maybe that gives our altcoins a chance to move up even further than they have. I'm excited, guys, to bring you next week's altcoin hotness. I have a lot of coins that I've popped, and I have not taken them off the list yet. I like to do that with you so you can see what my past week's predictions were and how many of those out of my altcoin hot list have actually done what I expected, and I can take them off the list and you can see the results of that. And then I'll add a few more to the list. I already have, and actually because it's been a week, some of those have already popped. So I'm going to have to take those off the list as well. But we'll find more. There's always plenty of opportunity out there, guys. So stay tuned, and we'll be giving you that list. And again, feel free to come on over to my website, sign up as a free subscriber, and you'll get all these notifications, not just a few on whichever social media platform you are following me, but everything. All right, guys, that is my wrap up. Actually, I didn't do my outro yet. I've already stated this. Expect us to continue sideways just above the FUD zone and test our area of confluence. And again, stay tuned for that hot list. We'll bring it to you next week. All right. Peace to you all, and we'll see you next week.